Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. There's a lot of new people here, so if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining. Today I wanted to just do kind of a quick video of a tattoo and piercing tour. More as just like a rambling video. But maybe some like tattoo tracing and stuff like that. Some tattoo tracing, and a piercing story times. I'm gonna start off with all my piercings, or maybe I should go. I'll go in order of when I got everything in order. So the first one, I used to have my nostril pierced. I got my nostril pierced when I was 15, but I'm very keloid prone, as you can tell by my eyebrow and my lip, and I promise it's not because I don't take care of my piercing, because I swear I do, but I'm very, very keloid prone, and so with my nostril just got to the point where I was just like, I don't want this anymore, so I took it out. And then, when I was 17, I think, is when I got my septum pierced. I got my septum pierced when I was 17. And, I really, really loved my septum piercing when I got it. I still love it now, but, yeah, I never really, saw myself as someone getting multiple face piercings, but after I got my septum piercing, I was kind of like, I like the way this looks, and I feel like I can do more with it. So, when I turned 18, on my 18th birthday actually, is when I got my eyebrow pierced. My 18th birthday. And this piercing, when I got my nostril pierced, it hurt really bad, because it's like cartilage. When I got my septum pierced, it didn't hurt that bad. I had a really good piercer who did actually all these piercings, except for he didn't do my nostril, which is probably why it was turning out so bad, but he did all my face piercings, so my septum piercing didn't really hurt. My eyebrow piercing literally felt like nothing, which, I mean, everyone says, like, sometimes for certain piercings, it'll, hurt for someone, and it'll be fine for someone else, but I feel like eyebrows one of the more universally, low on the pain scale piercings, because it's really just going through, skin instead of, cartilage or anything. But anyways, when I was 18, also a few months later, is when I got my first tattoo, and it's the biggest tattoo that I have. And it was my first one, and I got way freaking overcharged, so bad. And obviously at the time I was just like, okay. But the person didn't give me, a quote or an estimate before I got it done. They just told me after. And so at that point I was just kind of like, okay. But this is, a design that I drew. I drew the design, I drafted the design. And then my tattoo artist, did the sketch, obviously, and, her work, which I really like. But yeah, I remember when I first wanted to get a tattoo, I wanted to get, all of these things as separate tattoos. And I literally have, my old notebook from, my freshman year of college, when I got this. I remember, when I'd be bored in class, I'd just be drawing, tattoo designs that I wanted to get, and I went through many different drafts until I came up with this one. So, a lot of people always ask me for the meaning of this. Let me walk you through it first. So, first I have this little hand right here, this hand, and then right above it, we have a moon, a fully shaded in moon, and then we have an eye, an eyeball. We have an eyeball right here, an eyeball, an eyeball. And I work with kids, so whenever, as you can tell by my shirt, it says in my camp counselor, or whatever, but, whenever a kid, makes a comment about my tattoo, I go, yeah, I can see out of that eye too, so watch out, because, they'll always bring up the eyeball. It's kind of funny. But anyways, right above the eyeball, we have a sun, the sun, and the moon, and then right here we have a tree, which this is actually my favorite part of the tattoo, but because I wear a lot of t-shirts, a lot of times you can't see it. It's like the one part that's covered up, but that's my favorite part of the whole tattoo. And then around it are these, which are actually meant to be, I originally wasn't going to put anything around these, and I was just going to have it be those things, but I wanted it to be kind of almost like a cycle type thing, and so I wanted to, these are supposed to be like stars, but like stretched, you know what I mean? So this is one of those things where I kind of drew all the elements, before I really knew what the meaning was going to be, and the more that people have asked me the meaning, the more I've kind of discovered it. So, to me right now, which a lot of people are like, ask if it represents like the cycle of life, because of like this part going around, which I guess could be true, but I really just see it as like different elements of life, and not really the cycle of life, but a cycle that we're continuously going throughout our lives. So I would call it, I don't know what I would call it, but I feel like it's different than the cycle of life, because cycle of life begins and then ends and then starts again outside of our lifetime, if that makes sense. I don't know, but this to me is the cycles that we face on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on a decade basis. I don't know, different eras of people's lives. I feel like everyone has different like seasons of their life, and this to me represents a season of life, I guess I would say. So this represents the start or the creation, the entrance into whatever season or stage of life. And then here we have the moon, which is fully shaded in black, intentionally to represent night or darkness. Up here is the light, sun, daylight, light, darkness and light on opposite ends to represent duality. And and the eye in the middle represents the wisdom that we gain throughout our lives, and the knowledge that helps us to move forward throughout each season. And then at the top here we have the tree that represents growth, which comes from all of these things, right? And then that growth begins a new season of life, and that we are continuously just growing and changing. So that's what that represents. And if I had a nickel for every time I had to explain that to someone, I'd have a lot of nickels. I'd be freaking rich. But anyways, if we're still going in order, when I was still 18, is when I got my vertical labrae piercing. That was really loud. But I got this in February of last year, and it looks really bad right now. But like I said, I'm very keyword prone. I promise it's not my fault. But yeah, this is one of my favorite piercings. I remember when I got my eyebrow piercing, I immediately was like, oh, I like this a lot. This fits my face perfectly. But when I got my vertical labrae, it took me a minute to get used to. I don't know why. It's the only time that's ever happened to me with a piercing where like it didn't feel like a part of my face. It just felt like it was just on my face. But then the more I started showing people, like I had someone say like, that's the most like natural piercing on you. Like that looks like you were meant to have that. And the longer I've had it and the more I've gotten used to it, I definitely feel the same way. And I'd probably call it my favorite piercing right now. I really like it. This one, to me, I'm like slouching really bad because my mic is all the way down here. To me, this was by far my most painful piercing. I don't know why, because everyone else I've asked that has this piercing said it didn't hurt at all. For me, this one hurt really, really bad. I guess it wasn't like really, really bad, but I just wasn't expecting it to hurt. But I'm also one of those people that I'll go into getting a piercing or getting a tattoo and I'm not considering the fact that it's supposed to hurt, so I'm not like nervous about it until the needle is literally through my skin, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot this like hurts. so then it's always like unexpected. But yeah, I really like this piercing, really enjoy it. Moving on, in October of last year is when I got my first tattoo on this arm, and I had decided for a long time, I had a lot of music themed tattoos that I wanted to get, so I decided I wanted to dedicate this arm to specifically music related tattoos. So the first one that I got is over here, and this one, if you don't recognize it, it's from, actually, I'm gonna go grab the albums that each of my tattoos are from. Okay, so this, if you don't recognize, is from the album cover of Dragon New War Mountain, I Believe in You by Big Thief. This is one of my favorite albums. I'm not exactly sure why I chose to get this one first, because it wasn't the first one that I wanted to get, but I really, really like it. Yeah, I got the little bear, and this one gets a lot of comments, because obviously, like, at first glance, if someone's seeing it, they don't, like, realize that it's from an album cover, so they're like, oh, that's so cute. Like, thanks, I know. But, yeah, so, that's that one I got in, October, and that was starting my mini music-themed half-sleeve that's still in progress. And then the last 3 tattoos, I got all at once. So, first we can do this one. And I don't have the CD for this album right now because it's in my mom's car, but this is probably the most easily recognizable one that I have, and it's The Color and the Shape by the Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters are my favorite band of all time, so I knew at one point I was gonna have to get a Foo Fighters tattoo, and this one, it took me a long time to decide what I wanted my Foo Fighters tattoo to be, because there's a lot of iconic, like, symbols and stuff representing the Foo Fighters, but I decided to get The Color and the Shape because it is my favorite album, and I do think that, like, this is a pretty cool design, and it's one of those ones that it catches your eye, because it's like, everyone knows Everlong, I feel like, and I feel like a lot of people have seen this album cover, so I chose to get this one, and yeah, I really like the way it turned out. I think my artist did a really good job. I went to the same place for this whole arm, but this one was a different artist, and then these 3 were all the same artist on the same day, but this is the one that I got from the place that I low-key got overcharged at, but I really like going to this place, and I think that's where I'm going to continue to go. But, so the other 2, it's going to be kind of hard to show. This one here, and I'm going to have to mirror this video so you can actually see, but I'm going to stand up and show really quick. This one is from Immunity by Clairo. Foo Fighters is my favorite band, but Clairo is my favorite artist, which I know, like, the duality doesn't fully make sense, but it's the truth. And I love every Clairo album, and my favorite album of hers, honestly, is probably Charm. I'm a huge fan of Charm. I still am. I don't know what I was gonna say was. I'm a huge Charm fan. However, Immunity holds a lot of significance for me, a lot of nostalgic significance. So, when I was deciding which one I wanted to get, I was considering, because one thing I like about Clairo too is, like, if you, like, every album name has a significant and recognizable, like, font that the title is used for. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, like, the immunity font is very recognizable, and then there's like the sling font, which is like that, like cursive. I wish I had my sling poster up, but that cursive, and then the charm one, which is like, but they're all very iconic, and I really liked the immunity one, not only for the significance of the album, but I just really liked the word, and I really liked having, if I'm choosing between the 3 albums and what word I wanted to put on my body, I just really like immunity, and so I feel like this tattoo is really perfect in a lot of ways. Immunity, 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 immunity. But yeah, honestly, I would call this one of my favorite tattoos, even though it's the smallest one that I have. But the last one, I'm not sure if you can read it, but this is the only one that doesn't come from an album cover. And this is, I was always very weird about putting words on my body and my tattoos, because I was like, if I put like a quote or something, I feel like, what if I think like years down the line I think it's super corny or something like that, or like it doesn't represent me anymore, you know. But this is a lyric from an Ethel Cain song. This is a lyric from the song Sun Bleached Flies by Ethel Cain, and I really, really enjoy that song, and I think it resonates with a lot of people. And then this specific lyric, what it says is, I forgive it all as it comes back to me. I forgive it all as it comes back to me. If it's meant to be, then it will be. I forgive it all as it comes back to me. And that lyric really stuck with me because the song is from an album called Preacher's Daughter, which is a lot like a story album, and it's super interesting, and I'd recommend everybody listen to it and like read the lyrics and read into like the story building of the album, I guess. But I was really, really I don't know, that lyric really stuck with me, and I feel like it's something that to me represents cycles of not to get like all, you know, but when reading like the lyrics on Genius and everything, and reading the way that Hayden or Ethel Cain talked about this song specifically, like that line really represents like taking in cycles of mistreatment or cycles of abuse in some cases, or cycles of any type of trauma or anything like that, and just forgiving it and choosing not to contribute to those cycles. And that's how I kind of took it, and that's the way that it resonates with me. And so I really wanted to get that lyric specifically, and I originally wanted to do it in like a swirl, but then I decided, also just because it was harder to do in a swirl because it's like a short sentence, but I decided I really like it going in a circle because first of all, saying as it comes back to me, and then it leads to the I, so I just like that it's like a cycle, saying I forgive it all as it comes back to me, and then back to I forgive it all as it comes back to me, because it's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle that never stops at yourself. And so I really like that, and I feel like this is perfectly done, and I hope to build like a kind of cohesive set of tattoos on this arm, and yeah, it's definitely still a work in progress, and I plan on getting more. So yeah, that's all for my tattoo and piercing tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really just an excuse for me to do like a rambling video, because I feel like I talk a lot in my videos, but hopefully you guys like it. It's not stopping anytime soon. Shit. But anyways, if you made it to the